Hello and welcome. My name is Natalie Schlute, and in this particular episode, I will be talking all about how to understand your intuition and tap into that inner wisdom that you already have inside of you. We are all intuitive beings, and we have the ability to reach out and understand intuitive nudges that are coming through every single day. In this episode, you are going to learn all the different ways that intuition may show up in your life. You're going to learn how to decode the symbolism behind some of these vague messages that you might be receiving. And then also, you're going to learn that some messages that you are receiving are not actually for you. I'll be teaching you exactly how to have more clarity when it comes to receiving all of your intuitive messages. And if you love everything to do with law of attraction, intuitive development, and simply just manifesting amazing things in your life, don't forget to subscribe and then also hit that bell so that you can get notified every time I have a new episode for you. We are all receiving intuitive information every single day. We are physical, energetic beings. Every cell in your body is made of energy, which means that we are emitting energetic signals, but we are also receiving energy information all the time. Even all of your five senses, the sense of touch, your sense of sight, your sense of hearing, those senses are simply your body interpreting energetic waves, different frequencies, different vibrations, and taking that information and turning it into an experience. So when we hear something, someone talking to us or music on the radio, music coming from the TV, those are vibrational waves that are moving towards us. And then our ear canals interpret that information into sound. That's simply what sound is. And it's the same with our eyes. Our eyes are receiving vibrational information through different light frequencies. And then our brains take that information and interpret them into a visual picture. And that is how we experience sight. That is how all of our five senses work. We are receiving vibrational energy information. Our physical body is decoding it and turning it into an experience. That's happening both on the physical level in this 3D reality that we experience. And if you are truly tapped into your intuition, if you take the time to tap into the much more subtle energies that you're receiving all the time, that is when you're able to pick up the very fine-tuned information that the universe is sending you. That is your intuition. It's like having spidey senses, right? Like you have all these more heightened senses, and that's what intuition is. We all have access to it. It just depends on how you're focusing your intention, choosing to put your attention on the 3D reality, or choosing to put your attention on expanding into a different energetic vibration. You can heighten your awareness so that you're able to receive more intuitive information. In my last episode, I talked about how to be a clear channel for intuition, where I teach you how to energetically shift your attention so that you become more energy and a larger receptor for receiving intuitive information. So if you want to know how to do all of that and get yourself to be a really clear channel, go ahead and check out that episode. In this particular episode, I really want to hone in on understanding the messages that you are already receiving. You might be receiving some energetic information through your emotions. And maybe you're having a difficult time deciphering if this is just a worry or a fear that's going on, or if you're actually receiving an intuitive nudge where it's information that you need to be moving forward with, or if it's a negative energy, maybe something that you need to be avoiding in your life in order to move towards the greatest life you can have. Right now, you might be receiving some intuitive information through visions. Maybe you have a picture in your mind of something and you wonder, is that really an intuitive piece of information, or is that my imagination running wild? And in the beginning, it can be very challenging. You have to build a certain level of trust with your intuition in order to receive a clear message and clear guidance and be in a state where you really know that this is an intuitive message. This is not me making it up anymore. This is real. And that takes time. It takes practice. It takes taking a few moments to take a deep breath, to sit with what information you just received, what information you are questioning, if it's really intuition or not, and connecting with it, right? We actually need to sit with it. We need to be present with it so that we are able to eventually get clearer and clearer, to have more and more clarity on whether or not that piece of information is true. Now, every piece of information that comes through your intuition, do I still know if everything is definitely intuition or not? No, I still have moments and days where I'm questioning, is this really my intuition, or is this my ego? Is this my fear? Is this something that I'm just making up, or am I reading into it too much? I still have those moments. The biggest game changer is having a daily practice where you are actually focusing on the intuitive nudges that are coming through, where you sit with it, you spend some time with it, and start to build that relationship. The more you do that, the more you exercise that intuitive muscle, the stronger that relationship will get, and the more clarity you will have over the messages that are coming through for you. So my guidance, the biggest piece of guidance is you have to be doing some of this inner work on a regular basis. If you try it for a couple days and then you spend 6 months and you're not paying attention to your intuition, you're not doing any inner evaluation, you're not writing down in your journal some of the things that came through and sitting with it and reflecting on it, then you're not going to have a lot of clarity on whether or not those intuitive pieces of information are true or not. Now, you don't have to do that forever. I don't do that on a daily basis. I have been doing this for enough years where I'm able to make these decisions and these evaluations about the intuitive information that's coming through so much faster, because I've already done the work. I've already put the time in. I've already done those exercises, and I do my regular meditation practice to keep me in a state where I'm much more of a clear channel to receive intuitive information. So it comes through much more easily. It's like learning how to swim. In the very beginning, you feel like you're drowning, and it's so hard and it's so confusing. You don't know how to coordinate your arms and your legs and the kicking and the breathing out to the side and you're swallowing water, and it's just really stressful and really challenging. But once you learn how to do it, once you put the time in, you've done the exercises, you've done your laps over and over again, you've learned the different strokes, and you know the difference between all of them, and your body just memorizes how to do it, you know how to swim for the rest of your life. You never really go back to square one where all of a sudden you haven't swam in 2-3 years, you jump in a pool and you're gonna sink. It's just not how it works. It's like riding a bike. It's like swimming. You just learn how to do it. You learn how to get yourself there, and then you have that skill set for the rest of your life. So if you put the work in now, you will have a wonderful experience and you will keep this skill set with you. Intuitive information will come through one of your 5 different senses. Your sense of touch, so your physical body. It will come through your sense of sight. You might be the type of person that sees more visions. It will come through auditorily. You might actually hear in your own mind or outside of yourself messages that either sound like your own voice but a little more subtle, and that might be how you're receiving intuitive information. You might also receive it through your emotional system. So you might get a wave of emotions come over you, and that might be an intuitive message for you. You might also have an instant sense of knowing, where it's as if someone just downloaded all the information right into your head, and you just know without a shadow of a doubt that this is a piece of information that I need to move forward with. This is divine guidance telling me to take this next step in my life so that you can manifest some amazing things that are on your list of goals. The simplest way to explain the difference between something that is an intuitive piece of information and something that is not, something that comes from your ego, is the quality of the energy behind it, the quality of the vibration, the quality of the frequency behind that piece of information that is coming through for you through one of your intuitive senses. Intuitive information is going to feel much lighter. It's going to be very simple, clear, concise, maybe a repetitive message. There's not going to be a lot of emotion attached to it. It's going to come through as if it's just, here it is. It's just a knowing. It just is what it is. but there's not going to be a lot of heaviness to it. Not a ton of excitement, and also not a ton of distress either. It's going to be just a piece of information that floats in for you, as if it's like, here you go, here's the next step, or here's something to avoid, or here's something to move towards, or hey, this might help you, why don't you look into this, or here's a sign that you're on the right track. It's going to be something a little simpler and subtler, which is why it can be challenging to decipher between intuitive nudges and something that's not an intuitive nudge, because it is so much more subtle. That is your inner wisdom. It has this sense of calm, knowing, and understanding that just shows up. It's like, I'm here. This is just how it is. It doesn't have that ego behind it. It doesn't have the need to be in the forefront of your attention, because your intuition, your higher self, doesn't require that. It just is what it is. Where on the other hand, your ego tends to be a little louder. Your ego wants to grab your attention. It's going to be in the forefront of your mind. It's going to keep jumping in and trying to get your attention. It's going to use logic. It's going to use rationalization. It's going to try to find a way to get you to believe it. It's not going to be just this clear, concise, simple little knowing. It's going to be an internal dialogue that keeps going and tries to talk you into something and prove its point. Now, your ego can also work in your favor. You can have some really great internal dialogue, a great knowing that supports your intuition, but you can also have that flip side, the shadow side of your ego that tries to pull you down and stops you from listening to that quiet voice and really tries to grab your attention, or maybe even trick you and mimic that quiet voice because it knows you're analyzing the difference between the two. So it's the quality of the energy behind it. If you're getting a really big flood of emotions that's super intense and it just overwhelms your system, there's a good chance that is a pattern within you, or you're picking something else up that's not necessarily meant for you. If it's a wave of emotion that maybe feels like a warning, but it feels like it came from outside of you, that is more likely going to be intuition. Same with the quality of the sounds that you hear. The light, knowing, simple statements are going to be intuition, whereas some of the loud, repetitive thoughts or internal dialogue that just keeps going and rationalizes, that's not going to be your intuition. And if you have visions coming through for you, ones that are simple, or a message that you keep seeing on repeat that comes through maybe a couple times a day or once a week, or you've just noticed over the last few months you still have this vision that pops in every once in a while, that's going to be your intuition. Whereas if you have a fear or a worry or something that's kind of been on the back of your mind a lot, and you keep rehashing something and you keep seeing this vision of something bad happening, you might actually be unconsciously creating that. So that's going to be a sign that it's not necessarily your intuition, but that's coming from your subconscious and your ego. Take a quick moment and let me know in the comments if this is helpful for you so far, or if you need more clarity, any specific questions about anything that I just explained, so that I can help answer those questions, or maybe even make another video to give some more tangible examples of things that you specifically are going through and need more help deciphering about. Now, aside from determining if something is intuition or it's coming from your subconscious ego, another thing that I find people have a lot of difficulty with is decoding and deciphering symbolism. What I mean by that is, if you start to see angel numbers, some repetitive numbers all the time, just understanding, what is the universe trying to tell you? Why are you seeing 1111? Why are you seeing 1, 2, 3, 4 all the time? Or why are you seeing 888 everywhere? These are things that sometimes people get a little confused about. Angel numbers, fairly easy. You can look up online, or there's some great books. I love Doreen Virtue's book, Angel Numbers 101. It's a great simple thing to have in your phone, on your Kindle, with you anywhere. But understand that also you have your own relationship with the universe. So even though you can look up symbols, what may be a symbol for me may have a different meaning for you. Sometimes we receive symbolic information through spirit animals. All of a sudden you start seeing butterflies everywhere you go. Or my spirit animal is an owl, so maybe I start seeing owl symbols. What does it mean? Or it's coming through in my dreams and I'm receiving messages there. sometimes we need to do a little bit of digging and reflecting on what these symbols might mean for us. What is our relationship for it? When we think of those things, what comes up for us? Or you might do a Google search and find out that the number 8 is also very similar to the infinity symbol, which represents abundance. And you have been working on manifesting more wealth into your life. And so this is a symbol that keeps coming through for you because it's showing you that you are on the right path to just keep moving forward. We can also receive a lot of intuitive information through our dreams. Our angels and our guides can draw in information for us to decode through our dreams. There are a lot of great dream dictionaries out there and some great books and resources that you can look into to help you understand how to decode that. Some very simple guidelines about decoding your dreams would be to look at the overall setting. Where does it take place? Is it in a space where there's a lot of other people? Because if it's at a mall or a theme park, or you're at the beach on a busy, summer day, then that dream may have something to do with your relationship with the outer community, with how other people view you, or how you feel about how other people are viewing you, or perhaps about your business. You need to get out into the world a little bit more. If the dream takes place in your home, and depending on which room in your home, that actually may represent a part of your body, a more intimate part of your life, something inward that you need to reflect on. If your dream takes place in the kitchen, that is where we digest not only our food, but information about our life. If the dream takes place in the bathroom, that could mean that you are processing and releasing some information or some emotions that you need to let go of. That's where we expel our waste, things that no longer serve us. The second thing you want to look at is how you felt emotionally within your dream, because your emotions are going to be the strongest indicator for what that dream represents for you. What is the subconscious meaning behind it? Sometimes our dreams are things that we just need to release from our life. Other times they are messages for things that we need to start implementing and moving towards in our life. They are actually intuitive pieces of information to help guide us, but they are in a symbolic way, which means we have to do a little more of this type of decoding. You also want to look at the characters, all the other people that are in the dream. They may actually represent specific people in your life, but they can also represent different pieces of you, different parts of your emotions, different parts of your personality, different past events that maybe you need to process out of your life. They are also very symbolic for something that you need to process, something that you need to move towards, something that you need to let go of. So look at the people and the interactions inside your dreams as how is that a reflection of me in some way? And you might get a lot more information from that symbolic character. And then, of course, notice any other interesting details that might come up in your visions or in your dreams. Anything like colors, just little objects or specific things that are happening in situations, and figure out what it could mean. The reason why a lot of intuitive information, whether it's in our daydreams or night dreams, come through as symbolism is because we can pack so much information into one symbol. You can have an entire history in one small symbolic piece of information, whereas if it was to come through as like a verbal message, it might be a whole chapter in a book that you would have to read to get the same amount of information that one symbol can represent. Intuitive information can be very compact and dense when it comes through as something that is symbolic. It's just a much faster way to receive a lot of information in one given moment. And one of the other pieces to understanding your intuition is to know when the intuitive information is not yours. If you are an empath, if you are a very energetic being, a very intuitive soul, then you are going to be picking up a lot of energetic information, not only from the universe as guidance for you, but you might also be picking up energetic information from other people, especially if you're an empath where you feel other people's emotions. I have seen it happen with many of my coaching clients where they pick up a piece of intuitive information. It almost feels like a warning or something distressful, and they get really concerned because all of a sudden they're holding on to this piece of intuitive information that came through for them as a very negative emotion. And then they're just mulling it in their mind. What does this mean? What does this mean? I feel this negative energy. I don't understand it. I feel like I'm getting a warning from the universe. But what really happened was they happened to be in very close proximity to a friend or a loved one, or someone who was going through something fairly negative, someone who was processing some negative information, that wasn't in a good mood, that was depressed, or was rehashing one of their own limiting beliefs or issues that was going on in their life. And they happened to pick up that vibration from their friend, from this other person. And they didn't realize that that information wasn't theirs. They didn't need to be holding on to that warning or that piece of negative vibration. They didn't understand that they were just feeling what someone else was feeling. So in turn, they ended up holding on to that piece of information, holding on to that vibration for multiple days when they really didn't need to. It actually brought them down and put them in a funk because they felt something that wasn't theirs. So be aware that some of the intuitive information that you're receiving might not be yours at all. And you don't need to do anything with it other than just let it move through you. As we start to develop our intuition, it's very easy to have these aha moments like, oh my God, I just got this intuitive impression. And like, oh my gosh, I'm receiving all this information. And then we bottle it up and we get excited about it and we keep thinking about it and we keep reliving it. But then we get stuck, like that energy starts to stick in us, and then we're no longer a clear channel. We're no longer receiving the right information that's needed for us. So it's important to receive the intuitive information, maybe write it down in a journal so that you don't forget it, but then let it go. Let it go right away. And to figure out if it's your piece of information, intuitive information that's for you, or if you're picking something up from someone else, just ask. Just take a moment and mentally ask the universe, is this my information? Is this a message for me? Is this my own emotion? Is this my own energy, my own stuff that I need to work through? Or does it belong to someone else? And usually when you just ask that in your mind or out loud, you'll get a very quick, within a few seconds, piece of information that will confirm whether it's yours or not. Or if you're feeling really confused, if you're feeling all these different emotions and you're not really sure why, most likely it's because it's not yours. Somehow you picked up someone else's vibration, or maybe you picked up a vibration from a place, someone's house. Maybe there were some other entities, some other things that you picked up from. Everything has a vibration. So you touch something, you may touch an object, and you can actually pick up that vibration. And if you keep thinking about it, and if you kind of connect with it and feel it, you're actually going to take on that vibration yourself. And then you're no longer going to be a clear channel for maintaining your own energetic system. So it's a really interesting process as you start to develop your intuition. Because as you start to receive more, you're gonna have to let go more. You actually have to surrender more. You have to practice moving that energy through you so that you are able to still be clear and open for receiving new information. And just know that sometimes it may take a few minutes and it may take several days for you to let go of energy information that you've picked up from other people. Just as an example, my previous job is as an athletic trainer. So I was working hands-on, very much like a physical therapist would, with people that have injuries in the entertainment industry. And there were times where I would be working on someone. Maybe someone had a kink in their neck, and I would be working and I could feel their tension, I could feel their emotions, and I could feel their energy. And then later that day I go home and all of a sudden my neck starts hurting, or the next morning I wake up and I have this pain. And it was because I actually pulled and picked up energy information from working on that individual. And even though I took the time to sit and quiet and put on some, beautiful music and let that energy move through me and try and let it go, sometimes, depending on the intensity of the energy, it may take a couple days for me to release some of that. And it's just practicing. It's just doing it over and over again until you get better at it, you get faster at it, and then you learn how to not pull it in. You learn how to observe it, help them release it, and then just let it go yourself and don't hold on to it. The more you think about it, the more you analyze it, the more you try to tap into the intuitive information that you're receiving. If you're doing it for too long of a period of time, the longer it will stick in your body. It will stick in your energetic system, and it'll make it harder for you to let it go. If you really enjoyed this video, if you got a lot of wonderful information and guidance out of it, please hit that like button. The more you engage with these type of videos, the more YouTube will push out this content so that more and more people will be able to watch this video, actually get access to this video, and learn how to master their own intuition so that they can live a better, happier, healthier life with intuitive guidance every single day. I also have a free guide for you about following your intuition, so you can check that out in the description below. In the next episode, I'm going to be going a lot deeper into how to develop your intuition. I'm going to give you the exact practice that I use on a daily basis to develop and grow my intuition very quickly. Be sure to subscribe and also hit that bell so that you get notified when that episode is released. If you enjoyed the content of this video, be sure to check out these other videos here that I think you will really love. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode.